What is up, guys? Python here, back with another episode of Mets Talk. I'm rocking it solo for the day because I've been pretty busy the past week, so I apologize for no episode this past week. Also, been having a hard time getting Nico here on the show, but that is not going to stop me from coming on because this Mets team is absolutely rolling right now. So I figured I'd come on, rock this solo, do the best I can here. I apologize if there's a few mess ups here and there, bit quiet at times just because of the fact that it's not easy to talk for an hour straight, but we are going to do it either way. Before we do dive into the talk and all of that, just talk about the Mets and how great they have been as of lately. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially for Met fans. And turn on your notifications if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever you are getting your podcast. Leave a review, leave a rating, do all of that stuff. Also, remember that we are brought to you by our friends over at Manscaped. They're the best in men's below the waist grooming. They got precision engineered tools for your family jewels. The men's ultimate hygiene bundle gives everything that you need to keep down there clean. And there is an exclusive offer, that being 20% off and free shipping worldwide utilizing the code Python at the checkout page. Over 6 million men worldwide trust Manscaped, so why not make them a part of yours? And they are the best. They got in the hygiene package. You could order it solo, but you could get in the bundle if you want. Deodorant, the lawnmower 4.0. You could get everything you need. Wipes. They got every single thing. So check them out. Link is in the description if you do want to utilize that. I definitely recommend it. Remember, that is manscaped.com and using the code Python for 20% off and free shipping. Also, remember to check out our friends over at TickPick. They are the best when it comes to buying tickets for games because guess what? Those fees that you get hit with at the end of the checkout page on all the other websites and apps, well, that's not a thing here on TickPick. So you could get to games at a very cheap price. The Mets are on a roll right now. Why wouldn't you want to go to Citi Field if you can? And guess what? Saving money is great too. Wouldn't you agree? You could do that by clicking the link in the description and checking out TickPick. But besides all of that, let's talk some New York Mets because, like I said, they have been on an absolute tear since we last recorded. They played the Washington Nationals for 3 games. They wrapped up that Marlins series because I think we were in the middle of that last recording. But we're not even going to talk about it because you know what? The Mets just cruised through those 2 games, winning 4-0 against the Marlins and then 9-3. Those were forever ago, however, so we're not even going to worry. Let's talk about what really mattered: the National Series, the Brave Series, and then, of course, this Red Series. All 3 of these did matter. Well, to a degree. Obviously, the Nationals nowhere in playoff contention. The Cincinnati Reds nowhere in playoff contention either. However, these were still big games because when you're playing these weaker opponents, you need to gather as many wins as you could to help you solidify this lead in the NL East, help you build up for this next series coming up against the Braves this coming up week. So this is a huge, huge series, especially coming up tonight against the Philadelphia Phillies. You got a lot coming here, but let's talk about that Monday game against the Washington Nationals. The Mets, they cruise through that one, winning 7-3. Absolutely a great game for Mad Max Scherzer. He had 5 strikeouts, allowing 2 runs, unfortunately. So, I guess you can't say it was the best start for him. However, he still looked very sharp. Joely Rodriguez gave you a clean inning, which is what you could ask for. Adam Ottavino, great in inning and a third of work. And the Mets just got on the board early. They allowed the Nationals to get up early in this one. This, of course, was Soto's last game, I believe, actually, as a Washington National. So he ended up hitting a home run in this one because, of course. But they allowed a run early, but the Mets did not back down as they scored 4 unanswered runs. Unfortunately, that things got close. It became a 4-3 game later on in the 4th inning, but then the Mets piled on the lead, and the Nationals would not get it back ever since as they tallied 3 runs in the 6th inning to lead them to a 7-3 Mets win. Of course, the last game for JD Davis as well. This was the last game before the trade deadline. So obviously, we haven't even recorded since then, so there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the trade deadline. And I will be the first to come on this microphone as well and talk about that and apologize to Epler and crew. But let's finish talking about this game. Very great game for Francisco Lindor with 3 RBIs. He had that big home run. Was that game? Yeah, he had that big home run off of Cishek, which you love to see. That's what gave the Mets that big lead to give them that 7-3 win in the sixth inning. He got that 3-run home run, and that really pushed the Mets to win. Alonso also went yard in this game. Overall, just a great game for the Mets. Not much else really to say. Again, when it comes to this series against the Nationals, it wasn't really that interesting all too much, but they definitely look sharp in that first game. Then the trade deadline, and it was a pretty big letdown. If we're talking, of course, at the time, everyone was expecting David Robertson. Everyone wanted JD Martinez, Christian Vasquez, all of that. And the Mets come away with Michael Givens and Darren Rough, adding to Naquin and Vogelbach, who they added not too long ago. But I do owe an apology as of right now to Epler and crew. And could this change come October? Yes. Could this change even in a matter of this series against the Philadelphia Phillies? Yes. But as of right now, I owe an apology to the front office, to Buck, to everyone. Well, I guess not necessarily Buck, but the front office, I definitely owe an apology to Billy Epler because this platooning has been working and the Mets offense has been absolutely cooking ever since these three acquisitions, and it has been huge. Would I still have loved the difference maker back? Could you imagine that along with what they got going on right now? Yeah, no doubt that would make things a lot better. But at the same time, the Mets are under control. They've been playing great baseball since with these acquisitions. So there's not really much you can be mad about either way. And then when it comes to the pitching side of things, though, I still think that I'm not satisfied with just Michael Givens as the only acquisition there. That still doesn't sit right with me personally. I know the Mets, like I said, have been cruising through games, but Michael Givens, I mean, he looked pretty shaky in that first outing. He looked shaky, which we'll get to, but and he's looked shaky honestly in a couple of these outings ever since he has come into the fold here. But regardless, when it comes to the trade deadline, very underwhelming. However, I can apologize and admit when I'm wrong because, oh boy, have I been wrong so far, and I'd love for myself to keep being wrong. However, that Tuesday night, it was very unfortunate that those acquisitions and everything and everything just seemed to not matter because the Mets end up losing to the Nationals. This, of course, was Jacob deGrom's return game, and he was absolutely disgusting, pumping 102, 103 even at times, I believe. He was pumping heat, that slider, unhittable, and the Mets still couldn't do much for him. It was the classic deGrom treatment. He allowed one run, got 6 strikeouts in 5 innings. Of course, he wasn't going to go that far into the game. I still think that the Mets could have gave him one more if they really, really want to, because at the end of the day, when you see Steven Nagosic trot out of the bullpen, Yohan Lopez, Tommy Hunter, you want to vomit. And that was just kind of the story of, hey, the Mets needed to do more at the deadline to upgrade this bullpen because you saw those three guys trot out of the bullpen the game, and you wanted the hurl because these guys are just not bona fide major league players. They're just not good enough. And the Mets, it was shown. Lindor hit a home run, which we definitely got to talk a lot about Lindor towards the end of this after recapping these games here because he has been on an absolute tear. However, like I said, the Mets end up losing this one 5-1. Very unfortunate. Steven Nagosic, just absolutely disgusting, brutal performance from him. Lets up that home run to Garcia. Yohan Lopez, he throws the first pitch right down the middle, and that ends up letting, who was it, go yard there? I think that was who was it? It was Meneses. That's right. He ended up going yard there in the eighth inning, if I am correct. Eighth or seventh inning there, if I'm correct. But the offense did not really contribute. I mean, Tyler Naquin, he had a great game, picked up 2 hits on the day there. Yeah, that Lindor home run, but outside of that, a whole lot of nothing for that offense. And you're like, why didn't we add a difference maker bat at the deadline? Well, the Mets offense then shut every single one of us up the following day as they cruise through a 9-5 win against the Nationals. I shouldn't necessarily say cruise because things definitely got shaky with this one towards the end. Things got really bad when it came to this one towards the end. But the Mets offense was absolutely rolling through this one for the most part. How about Brandon Nimmo going 3 for 4 on the day? 3 big hits. He got a walk in this one as well. Absolutely outstanding day at the office for Brandon Nimmo. Starling Marte, great day for him as well. He ended up having a great game. Naquin, he got a pitch hit, which was nice to see. Alonso with a home run, Vogelbach with one. I think they went back to back in that one as well, which was great to see. But the Mets offense was certainly cruising through this one, and it was no doubt fun to see. And when it comes to the rest of the offense, Jeff McNeil picked up 3 hits in this one. Vogelbach didn't mention that he had 2 hits, 4 RBIs on the day. How about that for him? Canna was the only one really that struggled through that entire day. So not much to complain about when it comes to that. But unfortunately, the bullpen did have to struggle a bit and make this game a lot more interesting. Michael Givens with 5 earned runs. It did not end necessarily pretty well. I mean, they got the win, but it was definitely not fun watching Michael Givens in his first outing just absolutely implode, letting this game come closer. Lugo comes in and allows a hit, and you're like, oh boy, here comes the little Mets, right? But no, the Mets still end up winning this one in a big way. 9-5 as the offense comes alive. And Bassett was absolutely disgusting in his outing. They're throwing 7 innings, getting 4 strikeouts, which he is eating innings. And he said it in the post game recently against the Reds, which you love to see. And then that leads us to the big series, the biggest series of the season, the biggest series probably since 2015 against the Washington Nationals, the biggest series for the Mets. 5 games against the Atlanta Braves, make or break. Will the Mets be able to make a statement and keep a strong lead in the division, or will they falter and collapse like we've seen in years prior? Game 1, they end up looking great. I ended up being at this game. Cookie Carrasco on the mound for the Mets, and he does not disappoint with 6 strikeouts on the day. Looking absolutely great. He allowed that home run to Ronald Acuna Jr., sure, but regardless, he still had a very great outing. And the Mets got on the board very early in this game as well, which was nice to see, as you had Alonso get that RBI single early, and it looked like a rally was going to get started. Unfortunately, that didn't end up being the case, but the Mets still, they were doing great. Second inning, Tyler Naquin. How about him? How about him hitting his first home run as a Met? And the Mets were not done. They kept piling on. The third inning comes around, and the Mets end up adding on 3 more runs as Alonso and Vogelbach go back-to-back for home runs. Maybe that's the back-to-back with those two that I was thinking of. But regardless, they have been great together in the middle of the lineup. Vogelbach having protection. Alonso having protection with Vogelbach, who has been outstanding as a Met, of course. And that ended up giving the Mets a huge 5-0 cushion. And things got shaky, though, in the 5th inning. You have those 3 runs allowed, but the Mets did not disappoint as they come back in the following inning and add on a run. I believe this was Naquin's second home run. Absolutely great day for him at the office there. 7th inning, the Mets then surrendered a run, unfortunately. Kind of a weird one, though. I think this was the one that was on that infield hit, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really remembering because, again, this was a 5-game series. There's a lot that happened there, so I'm not going to remember every little detail when it comes to that. But regardless, the Mets, what does Buck do that I absolutely love? He calls the Diaz to get the 6-out save. They threw Diaz off a little bit with the trumpets there, playing them a bit late. But regardless, he still dominates with 3 strikeouts on the day. He looked a bit off at times in that outing, yes, but regardless, the Mets hold on and win 6-4, which was a huge win to start off the series. You go into Friday night, you're feeling good. You got Mad Max. No, you don't have him on the bump yet. His giveaway, my bad. I'm reading the Max Scherzer blackout, but no, that was just the giveaway. Yeah, Taiwan Walker, but you're feeling good still because Taiwan Walker's been great, right? You're feeling good. Taiwan Walker, Ian Anderson hasn't had the best year. All right, you're feeling pretty good. Nope. Taiwan Walker with by far his worst outing of the year, allowing 8 runs in only an inning of work. Absolutely awful effort. And it's just unfortunate because it doesn't seem like there was an injury, which I guess is fortunate in that regard. But at the same time, concerning that he was like that. But he has had an outing since, which looked a lot better. So not much to be concerned there. But he ended up spiking the baseball in this one at one point. You're like, oh my God, he's hurt. And he looked off and it threw him off mechanically, I guess. I don't know what happened, but no strikeouts there for Taiwan Walker in that entire outing. He did not have his stuff at all, allowing those 8 runs. Eddie Rosario hit that home run. Michael Harris with one. I mean, it was ugly, ugly. And when you see Trevor Williams come into this ball game, you're just like, yeah, this is the white flag. This is a game that the Mets are not going to win. But Trevor Williams actually kept them in check for the most part, only allowing 4 hits, got 2 strikeouts. He kept them in check, and the Mets actually had a bit of a rally going in them as they got a run in the second inning, despite being down 8-0. They ended up getting that run as Nimmo got that RBI single. Poor base running decision, or poor decision by Joey Cora, I should say, to send Luis Guillorme on that one there. Could have maybe got a rally going a bit there, but regardless, very unfortunate. 5th inning, though, the Mets absolutely pile on offensively. Jeff McNeil gets an RBI single. Darren Rough in his first pitch hit appearance. I think that was his first plate appearance as a Met. Either way, actually, he gets a huge double to give the Mets to cut the lead to 8-4 for the Braves. 8-5 then as Escobar gets a hit. Unfortunately, though, the Mets could not get another rally in them in this game, but the bullpen stayed pretty strong. I mean, Joely Rodriguez looked really good. He's been improving a bit. Michael Givens, he looked okay. Tommy Hunter, he ended up allowing a run, but there was a lot of what ifs in this game, and the Mets actually kept it very close. Considering they were down 8-0, I'm very happy because you forced the Braves to use some of their better relievers. You force them to use Lee. You force them to use Minter. You force them to use Iglesias, Jansen. You force the Braves to use their better relievers in this game, and that's something that you could ask for going into a doubleheader. And the Mets in that doubleheader certainly did not disappoint. And big ups to Buck Showalter, man. Big ups, because if it was him that decided, yeah, let's match Peterson against Odorizzi versus Scherzer instead of Scherzer versus Odorizzi, props to you, my man, because that was the right decision. David Peterson, great outing for him. 5 strikeouts, allowed 3 walks, 3 hits, but very, very effective, as he's been very effective against the Braves. He's kind of been a specialist against them. And Jake Odorizzi got knocked out of the game early as that became a theme, but apparently that was luck with the Mets, which we'll talk about that whole thing with Spencer Strider and everything. But in this game against the Braves, the first of the doubleheader, Peterson was absolutely dealing. Lugo did not have it. He ended up allowing 2 runs in this one. Ottavino looked a bit shaky, allowing 3 hits. Things didn't look great. Yohan Lopez then with 3 runs allowed, and you thought, great. You thought great, because the Mets they were cruising most of this game. They were up very early in this one, 2-0. Things looked great, as on this one you had Alonso and Vogelbach getting back-to-back RBI singles. 3rd inning, Jeff McNeil with an RBI single. And then the 6th inning, you had an RBI double from Lindor. And you're like, all right, we're looking good. Braves then score 2 runs in the 7th inning. And you're like, great. Then the Mets respond, though, either way, as James McCann got an RBI single. You had Marte with 1 sac fly for Lindor. They're up 8-2. But then the Mets, again, had to make it close because Yohan Lopez is just not it. And it's just further proof that the Mets needed to do a bit more still, in my opinion, here at the deadline. The fact that you had to bring Edwin Diaz into this game, very unfortunate. Thankfully, he didn't have to throw many pitches, though, and that helped the Mets cruise along in this one. As McNeil, he was probably the best at the plate, along with Guillorme, both of them going 2 for 5 on the day. Very great game for them. Nimmo with 2 walks on the day. Very great day all around, and it does continue as Max Scherzer. You have him on the bump going into the nightcap, and really great game here as Max Scherzer. Oh my God, was he disgusting. 11 strikeouts. Are you kidding me with this guy? 4 hits allowed, no earned runs. Max Scherzer just brilliant, and he showed why he is making the money that he is. A game like this against the Braves is why he got that paycheck, and he proves why he is worth that money. He proves that he is one of the best pitchers in the game. He proved that he could pitch in big games. This was Max Scherzer's game. 11 strikeouts. Unbelievable for the guy. Unbelievable. In the lineup, too, sure did not disappoint, as in the third inning, they exploded for a couple runs as they ended up getting the bases juiced. Pete Alonso with an RBI single. Then Rough comes up. He ends up getting out. However, it still brought in 2 runs, and the Mets were pretty much in control this entire game. Unfortunately, the bullpen did make things a little shaky at times, as Givens and May both allowed a run. However, May still closed out this game successfully, and the Mets won 6-2. Pete Alonso, 3 hits on the day with an RBI, easily the best in the lineup. Naquin, though, sure didn't disappoint either with an RBI and a hit in his pitch hit appearance. Overall, very solid day for the Mets. You pick up 2 wins, 2 very important wins, solidify the series win, and Scherzer absolutely brilliant. And that leads you into Jacob deGrom pitching. And you know what deGrom says? I'm going to one-up you, Max. I'm going to show that this is still my town, my team. A little friendly competition, and you'll love to see it, because deGrom goes for, checks notes, 12 strikeouts. 12. Had 2 earned runs, yes, but he was pitching a perfect game through 5 innings, 12 strikeouts. Unbelievable outing for Jacob in his first return to Citi Field. Simple man playing. It gave you chills hearing it again. Unbelievable outing for Jacob deGrom, and this team is scary. This team was scary before, but you add deGrom back into the fold, it's a whole nother level. And the Mets certainly showed up offensively this time around for Jacob deGrom. The third inning special again, Pete Alonso with a double, 2-run double, and oh my God, pay the guy already, because he has been nothing short of great this year. Definitely an MVP caliber player this year with all the RBIs he's got. He's hitting for average, hitting for power. He has just been nothing short of great. And then you have Mark Canha get an RBI double, 2-run RBI double as well, to give the Mets those 4 runs in the third inning. And they ended up adding another run in the 5th inning as well on a wild pitch, as McNeil got a double and he was able to score off of that. 6th inning, unfortunately, the Braves end up getting a home run. Dansby Swanson with it. And then Joely Rodriguez had to come into the game. But still, again, 5 2/3 of an inning. You take the 12 strikeouts from deGrom all day. 1 walk. Unbelievable outing for him. Joely comes in, and Joely Rodriguez with 4 strikeouts. Are you kidding me? 2 1/3 innings pitched for Joely. Unreal work. No walks, 1 hit. If Joely could keep this up, I'll shut up about Epler not getting another lefty here at the deadline. I'll shut up, because, oh my God, has Joely looked great lately? Has he looked great? And then Edwin Diaz, he comes in, of course, and you know what Edwin Diaz does. 3 strikeouts on the day for him, and the Mets close this one out, win 5-2, and they secure a 4 out of 5 against the Atlanta Braves to help them expand their lead in the NL East to 6.5 at the time, or 6 games, 7 games, whatever it was. You had the Met fans mocking the tomahawk chop. It was absolutely beautiful, and it was fun being at Citi Field for some of those games. I wish I caught more of them, but I'll definitely be catching some more games soon. That is for sure. And then the Mets go into this Red Series, and they just cruise through it, and they just absolutely beat up on an already, they beat a dead horse here, as they just absolutely cruise through this. They did not trail once. They got to work early in the first inning against the Cincinnati Reds. Marte with a 2-run home run after Nimmo got hit by the pitch. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. Chris Bassett in this game, brilliant. Just brilliant. Allowed 8 hits, yes, but no earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and 8 innings pitched. And then Adam Ottavino comes in, only allowing a walk and a hit. So things got a bit shaky, sure, but he got the strikeout, ended this game, and the Mets just cruised through this one, won at 5-1. There's not much to talk about. Bassett going deep in this game, absolutely huge. The bullpen getting as much rest as they did this entire series, which we'll talk about as we go along through this. But unbelievable series. Vogelbach, definitely great game for him, picking up an RBI, getting 2 hits on the day. Marte with 2 RBIs, 2 hits on the day. Great game for both of them. Overall, not much to say. Mets cruise through this one, and they do a similar thing the next game as Cookie Carrasco did not disappoint either. 9 strikeouts on the day, 1 walk, 2 earned runs allowed. Unbelievable outing for Cookie. Michael Givens, a lot better. Only had to face 1 batter, yeah, but he gets a strikeout. But regardless, nice to see Givens do some nice work there. Trevor May, 2 walks, but still gets 3 strikeouts. And then Lugo ends up closing this one out. And the Mets absolutely cruise through. And the offense did not disappoint. Again, Lindor with 2 RBIs, Rough with 2 RBIs, McNeil with 2 RBIs. So there you go for all those 6 runs. Unbelievable day at the office for all of those guys. Lindor with a home run. Just beautiful to see. We have to talk a lot about Lindor. Like I said, McNeil had a home run. He had that RBI single later in the game, too. And then, yeah, I mean, the Mets just, they didn't disappoint. They didn't disappoint. And Darren Rough with that RBI single as well. And the Mets cruised through this one again. And then if you thought they cruised through the past 2 games, well, they cruised through this last game as they end up just destroying the Reds 10-2. 6 innings pitched for Taiwan Walker, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks allowed. Great outing for him. Lugo only allowing 1 hit, getting a strikeout. Trevor Williams looking effective, allowing just 1 walk, clean inning for him. And then Adonis Medina only, he didn't allow anything, actually. He got a strikeout, and he looked great. The Mets offense came alive. Pete Alonso, 3 RBIs for him, which you love to see. Again, another one where the Mets offense got going early. First inning, you had Pete Alonso get an RBI single after a hit by a pitch to Nimmo and then a walk by Lindor. Then you had a sac fly from Jeff McNeil. Second inning, the Mets added just 3 extra runs. No big deal as Lindor gets an RBI single and then Alonso gets a single. Vogelbach ends up driving in a run there, makes it 5-0. Next inning, Naquin with a home run. I mean, the Mets just absolutely mounting runs on them. Guillorme, have yourself an RBI single. 6th inning, how about an RBI double for Vogelbach? How about an RBI double for Jeff McNeil? Just an unreal game when it comes to the offense, and it's nice to see the bats getting hot and the lineup look improved so much by the deadline acquisitions. And night and day, the difference between J.D. Davis and Dom Smith being there versus Vogelbach, Naquin, as well as Darren Ruff, which I forgot. And again, I hated the trades, so I'm happy to be wrong here. Very happy to be wrong. But the Mets cruised through this one, win 10-2, and you didn't have to use Diaz once this series. You had the off day. He is going to be hot and ready going into tonight against the Phillies, which you love to see, which we will talk about. This is a huge, 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 huge series. Phillies 10.5 games back, so push them away, shove them away. Do not let them even get any sort of sense of hope that they have a chance in this race here. And it would be fun if they can knock him out even of a wild card spot with a sweep here. That would be fun as well. Of course, the Brewers would have to win some games there, but I digress. Mets with a 7-game lead over the Braves. Again, you're facing them 4 times this coming up week as well, so that's a huge series. But for this series, you have Scherzer kicking things off tonight, which again, I'll be in attendance. And this is going to be a huge game. Huge game. I believe he's going up against Suarez tonight. Next game, you get Nola versus DeGrom, which is going to be a fun one, especially with how Nola's been pitching. And then you probably have Bassett versus Wheeler, that third game. So except for that last game, I'd say the pitching matchups are in your favor, despite Nola being great. Don't get me wrong, but DeGrom is the best in baseball for a reason. And he will hopefully show that. Huge, huge series. You got to go in there, win as many games as you could. You got to. And I believe they could. I believe that they could take 2 out of 3, which is what I think is ideal. You got to win the series. If you could sweep, though, that would be great. That would be great if you could. 73-39. This team is just so fun to watch. It's unreal, this team versus teams prior, and they are different. They sure are different. Knocking on wood here, because hopefully they don't collapse now that I said something. But This is going to be a very fun series. And then the Brave series will also happen by the time the next upload. So I guess with that, you're going to have Carrasco and Walker, and then you're going to have Scherzer and DeGrom pitch those last two games, which is absolutely what you want. You want to get Scherzer and DeGrom in this series. Actually, no. Would it be? Wait. Yeah, it would be Scherzer and DeGrom. I don't know why I thought for a second it might not be, but yeah, don't have any more home games against Atlanta, and this is a 4-game series. This is the last really series against the Braves until September. So this is your chance. This is your chance to bury them. And if you could, you have the pitching matchups with 2 of the games. That would be huge. Which also I forgot to talk about Spencer Strider, I just realized. Which what was that game they pitched? The last game, right? Yeah. He got knocked out 2 2/3 of an inning, but apparently the Mets are lucky. Right. Right. I tweeted this out because this is what this is exactly what happened with the New York Rangers and my hockey fans. All year, all we heard is the Rangers are lucky. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. They suck. They're awful. They get carried by goaltending. They are just getting lucky. Go to the Eastern Conference Finals. So you know what? Let's hear it. Keep saying the Mets are lucky, everyone. Keep saying it and let them shut you up and make you look stupid. Because that's what I love at the end of the day. I love when people look absolutely stupid for the things that they say that is just absolutely nonsense and ridiculous. Because for whatever reason, it's a sin to give the Mets any sort of props at all. It's a sin, I guess. But Spencer Strider, hopefully he goes again in this series, the 4-game series, and the Mets smack him up again. And let's see if he's still calling the Mets lucky, which apparently I guess he will, because all he said was, "Oh, a series in August. Let's see what happens in October." Okay. All right, Spencer. All right. Give me a Mets Braves playoff series. Give me a Mets Braves playoff series. Let him pitch a game 7 and get absolutely smacked. No. Sweep them and have him pitch that last game in the sweep. That would make me feel great. What a joke. What a joke. A guy that thinks he's the most famous mustache man in the league. Yeah, okay, good luck competing with Dylan Cease and Nestor Cortez on the other side of the league here. Yeah, okay, Spencer. Okay. But I did want to talk about Francisco Lindor, like I said, because by God, has he been unreal. And I need to give props where it's due because I'm someone that came on this podcast last episode and talked about how Lindor has not been necessarily it. I thought that you need more. He's getting 341 million. He's been good, but I want an MVP level player here. I want him to be good. Well, his second half numbers are sure as hell not disappointing. Let's look at this. 386 average in 19 games played. He has 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, 11 walks. He's getting pitched around like crazy. 5 doubles, 27 hits, and 83 plate appearances. He's been great. And I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it because I want him to prove me wrong. I really do. I really do. I'm someone that has been bashing the trade quite a bit, and I did last episode, but I will come here and take that punch to the chin that so far, over the past 2 weeks at least, I've been oh so wrong. Lindor came up huge against the Braves. Cookie has been coming up huge all season long. And then Lindor's defense also, nothing short of great. And you know what? Again, I'll be the first to admit that I've been very wrong. I have been very, very wrong when it comes to Lindor. So hopefully he keeps that up again, especially in these next 2 series. Honestly, the next 4 series here, because you got the Phillies, Braves, Phillies, Yankees here. So you got a lot of big series. You got a lot of big games coming up. Get some good teams. And if you could stay very competitive and show that you're legit, well, the schedule gets pretty easy here as you play the Rockies. Dodgers, of course, are no slouch. But then after that, I mean, you're cruising through. You got the Pirates twice. You got the Marlins, the Cubs. Brewers are all right. All right. Brewers are a solid team. You get the A's, though, in there. The Marlins again. The Nationals towards the end. The Braves. I mean, out after this stretch here, after this next 2 weeks or so, excluding the Dodgers and the Braves, I mean, you should be cruising through these next few games, and you should easily pick up 100 wins and solidify this NL East. I think so, at least. I think so. But of course, maybe others disagree when it comes to that. But overall, again, I have to shout out the trade deadline acquisitions again, as let me pull up the numbers ever since these guys have been acquired by the Mets, because my God, has it been just unreal. Can I get their numbers with the Mets? Maybe I have to go here instead. I apologize for a bit of the dead moment here. Not that it matters, because I've been rambling and talking quite a bit, so I could use a bit of a breather here regardless. But yeah, these trade deadline acquisitions have been definitely proven me wrong, and I am absolutely here for it. And I thought that, with not a lot of them playing defense, it would be a problem. But Darren Rough, I mean, playing a bit first base, getting Pete off his feet a bit, has been nice. So yeah, let's talk about all these guys' numbers ever since they've been acquired by the Mets. Let's start with Darren Ruff. 5 games, 15 at bats, a very small sample size. 5 hits, though, no home runs. Would like to see him get one. 5 RBIs, though. Struck out 3 times, hitting 333 with an 800 OPS. He's got 333 on base percentage, 467 slugging. Like I said, 5 RBIs. He has 2 doubles. He has been absolutely great, especially compared to what he's been doing doing with the Giants. And having him platoon has been great. Tyler Naquin in 10 games with the Mets, 30 at bats. Again, this is a small sample size, of course. 11 hits, though. 3 home runs already, which is unreal, especially going from Great American Ballpark to Citi Field. Definitely not that easy of an adjustment to hit 3 home runs already. Hey, I'll take it. 1 walk, hitting 367, 387 on base, 867 slugging, 1.254. That is 1,254 OPS. Unreal for the guy. 2 doubles, 11 hits, like I mentioned. And how about a stolen bag in there, too? How about stolen bag? But then, of course, the biggest acquisition, and I'm not saying that as in his size being an absolute unit, but 15 games, 44 at bats, 15 hits for Vogelbach. He has 4 doubles, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, 10 walks. He gets on base like crazy, 14 strikeouts, but hitting 341, 473 on base, 568 slugging, and 1,041 OPS. All these guys have just been nothing short of great for the Mets. If Michael Givens could really get in that mix there of great trade deadline acquisitions, I would absolutely love that, because yeah, with the Mets, he is I will say he is definitely not looked the same as he did with Chicago. That is for sure. But I have no doubt that he will get into a groove here quite a bit, and Buck just has to figure out how he wants to utilize him maybe a bit differently. But I think that is where we're going to wrap up today's show. Bit of a shorter one. It's kind of like that when you're rocking it solo. You don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of, and you don't have someone else really to give you a breather here with talking. So I've been doing, obviously, all the talking for 40 minutes here. I appreciate you guys so much for listening to this, especially if you made it the whole way through. Thank you guys so much for your continuous support. You guys have been great. Again, huge series starting against the Phillies, huge coming up against the Braves. Let me know in the comments and everything what your expectation for the Mets is. If you think that they're going to win both these series, if you think they're going to sweep, if you think they're going to lose, let me know what you think is going to go down with the Mets coming up against here with the Phillies and the Braves. You throw all of that. Let me know how you're feeling about the team. I'm sure you're feeling just as great as I am. And yeah, that's where we're going to wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for listening. Remember, if you're on YouTube, to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on your notifications. If you're listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from, be sure to leave a rating and a review. We really would appreciate that here. Other than that, that is going to be where I wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go, Mets.